Hi, welcome to Data Dashes. Today we're going to be making a simple dashboard on Tableau Public containing the data from the ICC T20 World Cup qualifying rounds that are happening in the UAE. For this, all you need is Tableau Public, which is a free application, and the relevant dataset which you can access from the link in the description. If you stick till the end of the video, you can learn for yourself how to create a dashboard just like this, or even better. Let's begin. First, let's take a look at the kind of dashboard we're gonna make. Let's get an idea about the end product we are aiming for. So this is what we're gonna make today at the end. So it's a simple dashboard. We have 4 parts, 2 tables and 2 pie charts, and then you have 2 filters. The idea here is to show the contributions of batsmen and bowlers to the runs and wickets of all the matches. The upper half of the screen is dedicated for batsmen, and the lower half of the screen is dedicated for bowlers. The left hand side is dedicated for tables with all the pure numbers. With batsmen it's runs, balls faced, strike rate, sixes, fours, and for bowlers it's wickets, overs, economy rate, and so on. And on the right half of the screen you have the pie chart showing if they're batsmen, the percentage of runs that they have scored from the total, and if they're bowlers, the percentage of wickets they have gotten from the total number of wickets. And on the right hand extreme end you have the most important part of the dashboard, in my opinion, if you're a user of the dashboard, the filters. So we have 2 filters here. You can filter from the match name, or you can take the data for a particular team. I can take the information from the Namibia versus Sri Lanka match, and if I want to go deeper, I can just remove Namibia from here and take just the Sri Lankan players, and we can see their contributions towards the match. So that's basically what we are going to make today. Let's see how we're going to do that. So the first thing you need to make a visualization is, of course, the data. You can't do anything without the data. Data for this dashboard will be taken from Kaggle. Rajkumar here has been very generous as to scrape the data from the web and make it available for us. We'll download the dataset. The link for this dataset is in the description if you're going to recreate this. So I will move this into my folder over here, and as you can see we have here comma separated values, or CSV files. So we have to convert these into Excel worksheets because Tableau doesn't allow us to import CSV files. Tableau needs Excel worksheets, so we will convert these. For my dashboard we don't need these 2 worksheets. If you are recreating this and if you see some data you think that you need to take from these things, you can do that. But for this dashboard we don't need these 2 worksheets, so I'll just convert these 2 over here. So we will open them and save them again as Excel worksheets. Pretty simple. Excel workbook. Now we will convert the bowling card. Same thing, you just save them as worksheets. There we go, we have our data sources ready. Now we will open Tableau. We'll keep this open for reference, but this is a separate Tableau worksheet, so we will open a new one for us. And here we will import the data we need. Click connect to data, Microsoft Excel, because that's what we are importing here. Navigate to the location of your data source and import them one by one. So I first imported the batting card. So I would like to import the bowling card as a separate data source. So we'll go to data, new data source, and import Microsoft Excel. So the batting card generally has the batting information, and the bowling card generally has the bowling information. Right, so we have our data sources, so we'll start working on this. First of all, we'll make the batting card. So as per our final vision, we have a table and a pie chart for batsmen. So first we'll make the table. So we'll take the name here. So this is generally a batting scorecard. In a scorecard you have all the typical numbers for a batsman, the runs, the number of balls faced, fours, sixes. So just drag and drop onto the panel here, and next what we need is the strike rate, obviously. Alright, now let's tweak this a bit. We can't see this properly, so we will expand this. Very nice. So I would like to rearrange these columns. Usually we don't see the number of balls faced at the beginning. We usually put the runs first. So I will rearrange this. So the way to rearrange this is by dragging these parts right here. I just drag it to the top, it comes to the front. So I have the runs first and then the balls. I would like to take the strike rate right next to the number of balls faced, because the strike rate is not a standalone number like fours or sixes. Strike rate is actually connected to the runs and balls faced, because it's a comparison figure between runs and balls faced. So I would like to keep it next to the 2 figures of which it is made of. So I brought it to the middle here. So I would like to add a grand total column here, because see, when we make the pie chart here, it shows the percentage of runs that the batsmen are responsible for, But the user might have a problem. Okay, this is the percentage, but what is the total number of runs? Like, from how many runs is this person claiming this much of a percentage? Is it like a big number, then which is pretty impressive, even if it's a small percentage? But if it's a small number, they might say, oh no, I mean, the total is small anyway, so this guy obviously got like a huge share of it. So we will put the total number of runs. So I don't want to dedicate an extra space to keep the total number of runs. So what we'll do instead is create a total row here so that the user can see the total of everything, not just runs. They can see the total of everything. So for that, we have to create a grand total column. How you do that is you go to Analysis tab, you go to Totals, you go Show Grand Column Totals. So it initially puts it in the bottom of the table, so we will have to take it to the top. Column totals to top, and it is on top. Here we have to make a small adjustment. As you can see, the strike rate is ridiculously high. 5,472 is not an actual strike rate. The reason it's happening over here is because, as you can see here, all of these grand totals are sums, meaning this 886 you see here in the runs column is an addition of all the runs in that column. But the strike rate, we can't do that, because the strike rate itself is a comparison value. It's not an absolute value, it's a comparison value. What we need here in this column, in this grand total row, is like the overall figure of everything. It's like big picture. Alright, so what we need to do here is we need to create a custom calculation, because you see the strike rate is a calculation of the runs and the number of balls. So we need to create a new field for this. So the way we do this is we go to Analysis, and we go to Create Calculated Field. We will name this Custom Run Rate, and we will add the calculation. It is the sum of the runs divided by the sum of the balls faced, and this will be our new run rate column, which is the correct calculation. So we'll add that. The reason it is not doing the calculation over here is because the strike rate that we were given from the data sheet is not exactly a calculation. It's just a basic number that the dataset has. There's no calculation there. So we need to tell Tableau, no, strike rate is not actually a number in itself. It's a calculation between runs and balls faced, because Tableau doesn't know cricket. It just knows what we tell it. So now we will add this column into our table here. We need to do a little bit of an edit there. So the run rate is not just this calculation, it is runs divided by the number of balls multiplied by 100. That is the strike rate. That is the calculation of the strike rate. It is related to cricket. It's not a mathematical concept. So if you want to know how the run rate is calculated, you can Google it. This is the formula for calculating the run rate. So we will click OK, and our column has changed accordingly. Next, we will format this to include 2 decimal points, because usually that's how strike rates are depicted, with decimal points. There we go. So to see if this is correct, we'll do a calculation here. 886 divided by 856, that is correct. 103, well, we'll multiply it by 100. There we go, 103.50, it's correct. So this is actually the correct number, not this over here. So let's see whether it is applicable to the data rows over here, not just the grand total. So we'll do another calculation. Let's calculate this field over here, 56 divided by 43 into 100. So it's 130.23. So it's clearly working. So we don't need this column now, so we will get rid of this, because this is actually misleading us in the long term. So we will delete that. We'll remove it from here, and we will rename this. So the way we do that is we right click the column name over here, and we click Edit Alias. Alias is, as you see, another name that we can use for something. So this is the other name we will using for the custom run rate column. So it is run rate now, and we are all done. So we'll once again move the run rate column next to the runs and balls columns, and there we go. So we will name this sheet, that is stats, and in a smaller text we will add an explanation for this. Percentage runs by batsman from total runs. Click apply. Okay, done. We are done with the table. So let's move on to the pie chart. So we'll once again, so in the pie chart we have the name and the percentage of wickets they have taken. So the data we need are the names and the wickets. The percentage of wickets is a calculation, so it's not something that is readily available in the data column over here, in the measures column actually. So what we have here is the number of wickets they have taken. Oh, my bad, we have to take the remember to change the data source. I have taken the names from the batting card, which is wrong. We have to take it from the bowling card over here. So you click the bowling card as the data source and you take the name from there. And here in the measures column we have the number of wickets the bowler has taken. So the percentage of wickets is just a calculation of this number of wickets. So we have it over here. So we need to change the format of the visualizations. So you click show me here and you click the pie chart. It automatically changes. It's very neat. So let's change the view over here and make it a little bit bigger. There you go. So you see the labels are not there outside, so let's add the labels here. It's very easy. In Tableau, all you have to do is you drag the necessary field onto the label part over here and it just appears. And now let's drag the wickets onto the labels. So we have the number of wickets, but our final product, what we're aiming for, has a percentage of wickets. Because it's a pie chart, I think it makes more sense to have the percentage instead of the absolute number here. Because if you want the absolute number, you can take it from the table itself, so it's not that necessary. So let's turn this into a percentage. So the way you do that is you go to quick table calculations, because the percentage is a calculation from the number that is the wicket. So we will do a quick table calculation, again readily available in Tableau. You don't have to do it by hand. So you click percent of total. There we go. A slight problem here, we have 3 decimal places here. Now in this big picture, 3 decimal places is okay, right? You can see it's not a big deal. It gives more accuracy into it. But the moment you make it a little bit smaller, that extra decimal point along with the percentage symbol over here, that's 4 figures there, that's gonna be really annoying. So let's just limit it to 2 decimal places. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna right click and we're gonna go to format. The numbers over here, you go to percentage, and percentage automatically comes with 2 decimal places, so everything changed over here, and you just click away and it's done. So what we have created over here is the wicket share, and the description of it is percentage of wickets by bowlers from total wickets. Done. So let's just recreate it for the other 2 as well. We'll open a new sheet. We'll go to the batting card. We'll create the pie chart first for the batting card. We'll take the names and the runs, because that's what we're aiming for here, the contribution by each batsman by runs for the total runs. So we have the runs, we have the batsman. Let's change the format to pie chart. We'll make it a little bit bigger. Let's add the labels. We have to add the names and the runs. There you go. And we will change the percentage here, percent of total, and don't forget the format 2. Let's change the name to run share with the description in smaller font, percentage runs by batsman from total runs. Done. Now the only thing left is the table for the bowlers, so let's recreate that real fast. We'll take, remember to change to check your data source, so we'll have to change to the bowling card over here. So we'll take the name, and of course usually the numbers you want for a bowler are wickets, the number of overs bowled, the economy rate obviously. Dots would be nice here because we're talking about contributions, especially in a T20 match. So dot balls are very important. Dots, and of course the runs conceded. Now runs conceded is not a contribution per se, but I took it because it sort of shows how the economy rate is made. So the economy rate is calculated by number of runs conceded divided by the number of overs bowled. So I would like to keep it there as a visual aid for the calculation, like quickly look at it and make sense how this economy rate has come. So let's leave the conceded column there, even though it's not a contribution. So let's rearrange these things. I like to have the overs up front like a regular bowling card. Next let's have the dots, and next let's have the wickets, and let's take the economy rate to the middle again and have the considered at the very end. Again we'll have to add the grand totals, so we go show grand totals and we'll take it to the top. There you go. Once again we have to correct the economy rate just like we corrected the strike rate, because the economy rate is once again a comparison figure. It is a calculation made from two other numbers. So those two other numbers are the number of overs and the number of runs conceded. So just like we did for the run rate, we have to tell Tableau how to calculate this field, because again Tableau thinks that these are absolute values and Tableau doesn't know that these are actually supposed to be calculations. Only we know that. So we will tell Tableau how to actually calculate the economy rate. So we will create a new field for that. Create calculated field. We'll name this custom economy rate, and we will once again give them the formula. So it's the sum of the number of runs conceded divided by the sum of the number of overs. That is the calculation. We will click OK, and we have one over here. We will add it. There we go. So we'll get rid of this column over here because once again it is misleading us, and we will edit the name of this column into economy rate. So changing the alias name doesn't actually change the name of the field, it just changes what we see in the final visualization. So everything's fine. And once again we will drag into the penultimate position over here, and we are done. We will name our sheet over here bowling stats. We'll add percentage, oh very sorry, pure numbers for bowlers. Right, oh I think I made a mistake over here. So the table has to be pure runs, pure numbers for batsmen, not the percentage runs, because the percentage is shown by the pie chart we have created, not the table. Pure numbers for batsmen. Done. We have already created the 4 necessary visualizations, so what's left is the 2 filters here. So the way we get to it is by creating the dashboard. So now let's create the dashboard. So we click this over here, which is for new dashboard, and over here you can see the 4 sheets that we have worked on. If you hover over them you can get a preview of what's inside. So let's drag them over here. Sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3 and sheet 4. So I don't need this, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this either. There we go, a lot more space. So the view is sort of like cramped in this area, so we will fix the area of the dashboard. So it's put to a range over here. One way you can get rid of this is by removing the maximum size constraint, but I like to go to change the entire option over here from range to automatic. So automatic means it will change the size according to the device that it's being viewed on. So I would prefer that. You can do something else if you want. I prefer this. So we'll close this so it's really big. Right, so we need to add the 2 filters over here. So before adding the filters to the dashboard, you first need to use those filters in one of these sheets. If you don't use those filters in the sheets, then you can't use them in the dashboard. What we will do is we will add one of those filters to one of these sheets, right? So let's take the percentage of wickets over here, the pie chart, and we will take the match name as a filter. So all you have to do is you select what you want and you drag it over to the filters area over here, and it is selected as a filter. So we'll select everything. There we go. So we have the match name as a filter in sheet number 2. So we will go to the dashboard once again and we select sheet number 2. So to insert a filter onto the dashboard, you just click one of these visualizations, you click the small arrow over here, you click filters, and you can see all the filters that you have applied to this sheet. So the filter we need is match name, so we click that and it appears. Now let's see what happens. So let's remove one option from here. Let's remove another one. Well, there's a problem here. So as you can see, when you're playing around with the filter, the only visualization that changes is the pie chart, this wicket share. Nothing happens in the other three charts. The reason is this filter was taken from this pie chart. It's not available in any of the sheets that we have made. See here. So what we need to do is we need to tell Tableau that, hey Tableau, it's not just this chart, apply this filter to all the other charts as well. This is for the entire dashboard. So the way we do this is we click on the filter, we click the small arrow over here, and you go to apply to worksheets. It's pretty self-explanatory. So you apply to worksheets, you go to selected worksheets. That's where you're going to select the worksheets that we are going to apply this filter to. As you can see, it's already applied to sheet number 2. So we have to apply it to all the other sheets as well. And you click OK. Let's see whether it works. So you unselect one. There we go. Everything changes. All the charts change. So it's clearly working. Alright, so we have one filter down. The next filter we need is the team filter. Now, this is a bit tricky. Alright, now this is where your understanding about the data set comes into play. So let's have a look at the data set. Alright, so let's open the batting card first. In the batting card, if you go through the batting card column names, you will see that there is no column that designates the team name. There is no column that designates team or country or whatever. It's not there. What we have instead is something called current innings. So this is where your understanding about the field comes into play as well. So if you don't know about cricket, you might not be able to spot this. So if you know, in cricket we have two innings, the first innings and the second innings. But if we are naming these columns, usually we call the inning name by the team that is batting. So if the Sri Lankan team is batting, we call it the Sri Lankan innings. If the Namibian team is batting, we call it the Namibian innings. Since this is the batting card, all of the information here is during the batting innings, and it says current innings. So obviously, if the data here represents the batting figures, when the column says current innings, it's the team name. So in the batting card, the team name is represented by the column called current innings. Now let's open the bowling card. In the bowling card, you don't have a column called current innings. Instead, what you have is the column called bowling team. Now, the moment you say bowling team, you know that is the team name, obviously. It's not a innings name, it's not a venue name, it's the team name. So bowling team. So you see the problem here. In our final dashboard, we have a filter called team, which works for all the four values. But over here, we have two separate columns. So how do we fix this? It's simple. Tableau has an option. You open the dashboard and go to the sheets over here. There's an option called blend relationships. It shows you the similar columns. So from the batting card, you take away team. From the bowling card, you take away team. So both of these sheets have a lot of columns with the same name. So Tableau has already identified these columns as similar fields. But the problem here is the team name is in two columns that have two separate names in the two different worksheets. So we have to tell Tableau, hey, even though the column names are different, the values in them, when you look at the values, it's still the same column. You can match those two columns. So Tableau hasn't automatically detected it. So we're going to tell Tableau manually to consider these two columns as one. So the way we do that is we go to custom, we click add, and from the batting side we click current innings, and from the bowling side we click bowling team. So Tableau will now match these two columns. We click OK and we confirm. Alright, now these are connected. When we are creating the filter, we can select from either the batting card or the bowling card. If you are choosing from the batting card, you have to click drag and drop current innings. If you are choosing from the bowling card, you have to drag and drop bowling team. So I will take from the batting card. We will take current innings and drop it in the filters. And in sheet, so this is in sheet 1. So in the dashboard we will take it from sheet 1 and we will add that filter, current innings, there we go, and we have to apply it to all the worksheets as well. Let's test it out. It works. All the 4 charts change. Alright, this is awesome. So the preparation part is basically done. So let's rearrange this and make it a little bit clean. The top half let's dedicate for batting. So we have the batting stats over here. Let's take the pie chart to that section as well. And let's keep the bowling in the lower half of the screen. Alright, so you see these 2 tables are pretty ugly. They're not taking the entire space. Here you have to go horizontally as well, which is pretty annoying. So let's rearrange that. You click the small arrow over here, you click fit and take entire view. Oh, sorry, not entire view. If you click entire view, you have the entire table squeezed into that small area, which is not what you want. You can't see anything over here. So you fit it to the width. So most people won't mind scrolling vertically, but if you arrange this to scroll horizontally, it's going to be really annoying. So let's just leave it fit to width. So you just need to scroll vertically. And let's do the same to this table as well. Fit to width. Very cool. Alright, so these are, I think, fit to entire view because we selected that from the sheet. So one small difference here is we have to show the dashboard name over here. So for that we just click this little checkbox and we have to name the dashboard. So we'll name it ICC T20 World Cup 2021 qualifiers stats. Right, there we go, it's done. We've created it, and if you followed these steps while you were watching the video, you must have created this. And it's very easy to create. You just create 2 types of charts, a table and a pie chart, and you replicate it to the whatever, batting or bowling, or whichever you do second. You add the filter, you rearrange the dashboard. If you want to play around with this for yourself, I've already created this dashboard and it's available at datadashers.com. The link is in the description. You can access it from there. You can play around. If you have Tableau at home, you can download it from there as well and play around with this in Tableau. Well, that's it. If you are into all things data like this, I recommend you to subscribe to this channel. And if you found this video helpful, fun, or anything, just leave a like to this video as well. And if I made a mistake here, make sure to leave a comment, because I like to learn. If I'm making a mistake, I'd like to correct that. If there was an easier way to do any of the steps that I have done here today, feel free to point out. Well, that is all for today. I hope you join the next video as well. Thank you very much. Bye bye.